from this computer. So welcome everybody. You guys can all hear me, correct? See everything? Yeah, we're good. Okay. Welcome everybody to September's topic class, I guess is what we call these, and this, our training classes. This time it's going to be a really fun topic. We're going to talk about how to increase your income by utilizing cross-selling and joint ventures. And it's something that we've hinted to at many different of our past classes, but we haven't really gone through how to exactly to set these up and what actually you should be looking for. So we wanted to make sure that we took the time this month to really walk you through the whole process and give you a couple of ideas you can implement to get this started. As always, this why isn't this working? What the heck? There we go. Your presenters are myself, Coach Alex, and Coach Jeremy is here with us as well. We're both coaches at the Insurance Pro Shop. You guys all know us by now. I mean, everyone in this class knows us, but we've been doing this for a long time. I just started my 8th year coaching you guys, and Jeremy's been doing it for about 27 years, I believe. So what's our goal at the Insurance Pro Shop? If any of you guys aren't familiar with this by now, but basically we're trying to bring about a positive change in the insurance and financial industry, just helping you guys to help families better and hopefully turn this country around and the countries around the world around. But then that's all about helping you shift to become a trusted advisor or trusted consultant, whatever terminology you want to use in your local community, because that's where the people need the most help. So what are we going to talk about today? Well, there's 4 different things. We're going to talk about the philosophy. We're going to talk about what a primary and secondary sale is and what cross-selling is. We're going to talk about building your team and setting joint ventures. And we're going to talk about what's an active referral system versus a passive referral system. It's a very important difference. So let's just jump right in. So what's like the philosophy? Well, the philosophy behind why this, and what I mean by philosophy is why is this so important? And it's because, well, let's do it this way. What is typically the hardest or most expensive aspect of our job as agents? You guys all know this. It's getting in front of new people, generating leads. Whether we buy leads or generating them themselves, it's the most time consuming. It's the most expensive part of our job. It's also like the biggest limiting factor typically. So to get more business or to increase our income, what are our options? And or what are the ways you can combat this? Well, the first way is you can increase your lead to appointment ratio. Basically, for that same, let's say you get 10 leads a week. And so instead of setting 3 appointments, you set 5 appointments. That would be theoretically 2 more sales. You could also increase your closing ratio, which would be, so let's say you have those 5 appointments, instead of closing 3, now you're closing 4, that'd be a new sale. But that doesn't really help you get more leads. So the other thing you could do is increase your sales when you meet with somebody. And what I mean by that is either increase your case size. So instead of a $5,000 sale, now you're doing a $6,000 sale. Well, that's a $1,000 increase in income. Or you could also sell it, and that could be done with 1 or 2 ways, either by increasing the amount of premium you get, or by selling them more products, a wider array of products. And the other thing you can do is you can build a team that will generate leads for you to give you more free leads, but also potentially compensate you for the referrals you give them. Kind of just like passive income, on like continual income. Very good. These are 3 things that we're kind of thinking about in the back of our head of why we're doing this.
When he says building team, he's not talking about recruiting. We're not about bringing agents underneath you. We're not talking about the monthly level marketing crap that's all over the place. Just focusing on building a core team of professionals to work together. Having a set a football team, right? You're the quarterback, and then you have all your other receivers that they're helping you push down the field, right? Same thing goes here. We're building it. You're the quarterback of the team to help you build your team around you, your protection, and also the people that help push your business forward. Make sense?
Yes, thank you for making that clarification, Jeremy. That's a very important thing, because we're not talking about like a multi-level scheme or anything like that. What we're talking about is helping people cover your gaps and working together for the same purpose. So before we get into that whole building team thing, the first thing I need to establish is what is a primary sale. I just want to make sure we're all familiar with the terminology I'm using. And a primary sale is the primary sale of your market. So it's the main reason that people are meeting with you. You may also heard it's your bread and butter sale. Essentially it's what you focus all your energy, all your marketing, all your money into to generate your revenue. And for pretty much everybody in here, it's going to fall into one of these four categories: health insurance, life insurance, annuities, or investments. Or it could be a combination, but typically we always want to focus on one thing. We want to focus on our target market, our niche market. And that's what we want to do because that's what we've seen the greatest success. The sniper approach is much better than the shotgun approach. We've seen that in effect. We've talked about that in a lot of previous classes as well. But essentially, this is going to be your most effective, your most profitable tool of helping people. So what are your secondary sales then? Well, your secondary sales is basically everything else. These are other products or tools that are available to you in your main demographic. In other words, they're your opportunity sales. It's you're looking for other services that your clientele needs and what you could provide for them. So let's look at some of those examples. Well, there's two different markets that we kind of delve in. So I'm going to separate those out for you. So if you're doing the middle-aged market, odds are you're probably using permanent insurance. And there's many different permanent insurance strategies out there, but let's use mortgage insurance as an example, but it could also be tax-free income, college planning, whatever you want. Basically, it's a middle-aged market. So your average client is probably something like a 45-year-old married with kids. That's people who most need insurance or something. It's usually on the lines of that. But that's only one way you can help them. What are the other areas that these families need help with? Well, number one is probably long-term savings and tax prep. All these people file the taxes each year and they have long-term savings goals, hopefully. Hopefully they're not just like living for the moment. That's not the best financial decision. The next one is, well, even if they live, they still could become disabled or sick. So disability and health insurance is a big thing for them, whether they get it through work or not. The next one is all these people have a home and more than likely have a car. So PNC insurance is going to be really big for them. And also they're going to you may want to do a refinance or something like that. So they're going to use mortgages on the regular, or not set regularly, but throughout their life. And they also have critical illness policy that's kind of like thinking for the future a little bit. These people are probably not as often going to be looking for critical illness and long-term care, but there is potential for that. So that's something we want to keep in the back of our heads. And lastly, you have like your legal documents that are really important as well. You have your wills and trusts and your powers of attorney. These are all really important things that a family probably should have set up. On the flip side, we have our senior market, and these are like the retiree market. So for this, you're probably primarily selling annuities or other income planning, maybe investments. And then like your marketing scheme is about income planning or Social Security or something like that. So let's assume it's an average 60-year-old senior approaching retirement. Besides just income planning, what else other areas could he need help with, either now or in the near future? Well, life insurance is going to be a big one for income replacement when the primary earner dies. So making sure like the survivorship is enough, and also legacy planning as far as covering taxes and estates and all that jazz. Medicare supplements, because they're approaching that Medicare age. It's going to be big. Long-term care is a big one if they have a little bit higher net worth or if they want options in that area. They're still filing their taxes each year. They still have PNC insurance. They still have that car and home. Loans and mortgages are still an option for them. It's a very powerful strategy that we can use. And sometimes a reverse mortgage is one of their best tools for generating income if they haven't done a great job of saving. Typically, that's a last resort, though. Wills and trusts, again, powers of attorney is even more important at these ages as they get closer to dying. Anyone have any questions about any of these things before I move on? I feel like most of us are pretty well versed in all of these, but I will take the time I need to explain anyone more if I need to. Okay, I'm assuming that's enough, and I will move on. If it'll let me. Opened up the chat, didn't let me. Okay, so we know all those secondary sales, but what are our options? How do we utilize this? Well, the worst way possible or the least efficient way possible, I should say, is probably the best way of saying that, is to blindly refer out to people who are not going to compensate you, and even worse, may potentially hurt your client's situation and replace your business. These are people that are just looking to help themselves and not necessarily, we don't know what their ethics are. They could just be out there to make a sale rather than doing the best possible thing for their client. We've all heard those horror stories. A slightly better is you can run around like a chicken and get the necessary licensing and manage all of these things at once. I do not recommend that. It's not worth it. It's not worth the headache. Or the best thing you can do, and at least in my opinion, why does it keep not letting me go forward? Is you can build a team of professionals, kind of what we alluded at before, that covers the gaps, both knowledge-wise and placement. So you have people you can go ask your questions to when you don't know something about a particular situation. That's like, I'm talking like estate or taxes or something like that, something outside of your primary realm. Oh, and they can provide the services that you're not able to provide. Now, this is really good because you can get even more compensation. We're going to talk about that in a second. But let's go into the action steps of how to set this up. So let's say you agree you want to build this team of professionals. Well, how do we do that? Well, first it starts with you have to sell the idea. It has to be something that your client is interested in. So when do you think we should bring that up? Most of you probably can guess this with our two appointment approach. Is it all starts with a fact find. So we're just going to add a section onto it. And as far as where in the fact find you want to bring it up, it's honestly going to depend on which of those on that list is what you're talking about. Typically, sometimes like I bring up throughout. So like if I'm talking about debt, I may talk about home equity and talk about like their mortgages there, something along the lines of that. Or if it's like more like a straight cross sale as far as like disability insurance, health insurance, P&C insurance, I'll usually bring that up at the end. But the biggest thing I'd say is I'm not trying to sell them right then and there. I'm only trying to put out what I call feelers. And that's just gauging interest to see if this is something they want help with in the future. And the reason for that is cross-selling is almost, I don't want to say always, is usually reserved for annual reviews unless it plays a critical role in your plan. What I mean by critical role in your plan is, let's say like with our found money management concept, for example, they have a lot of debt and you want to get a home equity line of credit to pay off that debt. Well, we don't want to, we need to set that up to free up the money to fund the rest of our plan. So that's going to be right then and there, as opposed to, let's say like P&C insurance or like disability insurance is kind of like a secondary thing for them. It's something like, yeah, they're worried about it, but it's not on the forefront for them. So that's something we can go back to in the future during our annual review. And this is another reason why annual reviews are so important. And the other reason of that is we don't want to be, it's a little bit of it could be seen as being greedy and making you look like a salesperson. But the bigger part of it is that it can be extremely overwhelming if you throw 10 different products at them at the same time. It's like, yes, they all need it and it's important, but you want to focus on one thing at a time, make them a client first, and then you can go back and get it in the future. Get them to like and trust you because it's much easier to do follow-up sales from there. It'll also lead to a lot less lost sales, sorry. Okay, so I said we bring it up during the fact find, but how exactly do you do that? Well, it's all based on that questioning, the questioning technique. So just like everything else, we're going to start with a concept or an emotional response. And that'll look something like this. Has anyone ever reviewed your disability insurance with you? If they say yes, I say, great, how's that going? What do you have? And follow that conversation. If they say no, kind of establish a problem a little bit so you can delve into it. Do you think it's important to know what's going on? And they'll say, yeah, probably. So let's talk about it for a second. And you go into it. And what does that look like? So let's say if they don't have that coverage, if you were to get in a car accident tomorrow and you could no longer work, what would happen? What would you do? What if instead you had this in place that'll generate income for you, that'll give you income? Sorry, one second. Sorry about that. Or let's look at it a different way. Do you have this kind of coverage of disability insurance? How's that working for you? Ask about the other potential problems. How much is that costing you? If I could lower that, would you be better off? Is this causing a struggle for you? Notice this is just conversation starters, and you just have a conversation with them based on their reactions. Unfortunately, I can't map out for you every possible situation because every family is different. But basically, we want to start with a concept and get them to get an emotional response and follow that conversation to see if it's something that they want to make changes to. If they don't, that's fine. That's not a big deal. But it all starts with that emotion. The emotion is what's going to cause them to want to make changes. It's all about that emotional involvement. You guys are very familiar with that term that we've used throughout all these classes. So now that they've said, let's say they are interested, well, like, how do you set that up? Well, this is where the building and the team comes into play. For some things like disability insurance, you're already licensed for and you can sell. But other things, as far as like a home equity line of credit, if you want to use that, or setting up a will and trust, or maybe you're not a health license, so you can't do long-term care or something along the lines of that. So you need somebody that can help cover these gaps for you. So who are you looking for? Well, the first thing is you want to make sure that this is someone that you can trust and is going to take good care of the people you refer to them. Second part is you want to make sure it's someone who's not going to interfere with your plans. I want to make sure that's kind of following from the first one as far as taking good care of them. The third is people who provide a service that your clientele needs, and we've kind of talked about that already. So what does that actually look like? Well, most commonly, it's going to be probably one of these things: a CPA, so like for your tax preparer, a property and casualty agent, unless you have those licenses, an attorney, a mortgage officer, a loan officer, mortgage broker, loan officer, health advisor, a notary, real estate agent sometimes, if they're looking to move. There is a slight distinction here I want to make, is that these are the people that you kind of want on your quote unquote team. These are not necessarily your exhaustive list of people you should form a joint venture with. There's a slight difference there. As far as these people are the ones that you're actually referring to and having, versus the people that are just giving you referrals. So this is kind of like a two-way referrals rather than just a one-way, because there's other ways you can joint venture with somebody. So how do you find the right, let's say, tax preparer to join your team? Well, the first question I have is, who are you using? Do you like them? Do you trust them? If you don't have one, who is your clients using? That's just simple as that. Just ask them. And once you find somebody, is, do you trust and want to work with them? If it's a yes from there, are they open to it as well? Do they have somebody they're already working with? So if they are open to it, well then it's okay, well, how do I do it? How do I approach them? I personally prefer the calling them, inviting them for lunch or coffee. It's just a very personal approach. It allows, it is the direct approach. It takes a little bit more guts to do it, as far as like, you have to face that rejection, but I mean, we're all used to that anyway. But it also has the highest success rate, and it leaves the least amount of room for miscommunication. So at that lunch meeting, what do you do? Well, basically what I do is I explain what I do and how I'm helping families. I'm kind of selling them on the concept before I even go into the whole joint process. I want to sell them and make sure they understand how I'm helping families. And during that, I want to bring some testimonials just to show them if they aren't familiar with me. And I do want to include a pro tip in there, and that's set up a time with them to show them firsthand how you're helping families. And that could be just a role play session or a true sales session with them. Whether they're like, so it's like you just kind of like as a practice thing where they use fake numbers if they want, if they're not comfortable with that, or or you can actually do it for them. Either way is fine. And then from there, we need to like you want to go through how they can actually help you with this, what a partnership is going to look like. So how can they help you? Well, the first thing is you're going to help them, and that's because they're going to receive referrals from you, and so they can easily perform the plan. It's basically the easiest sales in their life, because you're basically going to send clients and saying, hey, I want this, can you do this for me? Who doesn't like that? On the flip side is we also, and that's what's called that's a passive, that's kind of like a passive referral. What I mean by passive and active is passive is somebody that you see that's looking for them, not necessarily that you went out and found. And the flip side is you expect passive referrals from them. So if they see someone who needs your services, have them send that person to you. And in both cases, depending on the laws in your state and how you want to set up the thing, is you can offer or receive referral bonuses or a kickback. Like I said, just pay attention to your local state laws. And the second thing that we expect from them is we want them to do some active marketing for us. And of course, we'll be willing to pay for it if needed. And the best way that I found of doing that is have them send out an invitation and endorsement to their list. But we want to make sure that we phrase it so they are the hero, making them look good in the eyes of their clients. How do we do that? I'm glad you asked. So the marketing material is going to look something like this. Now, this is typically either going to be a letter or an email, depending on how they typically contact their clients. But basically, we want to state that they secured your services to them for free. So I have two different ideas. So the first one is that let's assume you're doing a workshop. It could be something along the lines of this. My friend just released a new financial workshop that was mind-blowing. After attending, I immediately contacted him and reserved his time or her and reserved his time so you can attend as well. And then you can go through the rest of the letter, kind of saying that, like, what it's going to talk about, instead of it's just like a starter as a letter. On the flip side, the other big lead generation tool is like a free report. I was looking for a way to thank you for trusting me with your business, and I read this really amazing booklet that dealt with tax-free income in retirement, whatever added benefit you want. Let me know if you want a copy too. Basically, we're just asking people to raise their hand to say, hey, like, that information is actually really useful for me. And the thing about these is but both of these ideas is we want to put them in a way that's saying, hey, they secured a benefit for their clients, and it's making them look good. It's not asking them to say, it's not asking them to sell their clients anything. It's, hey, if like this is something that interests you, I found a guy that can help with this, and this guy's really good. So we don't. That's kind of what we're looking for as well. We want them to say like, hey, this guy is good, and that's kind of what we're doing in between the lines here. A new financial workshop that was mind-blowing, that kind of thing. It's making you look good. It's making them look good. It's a win-win scenario. All right. So in summary, this is all in addition to what you're already doing. This is only one of your marketing legs. And like we always talk about how you want to have like 3 main methods of marketing. Well, joint ventures and referrals is one of your main legs. Second thing is this is a very easy and important step that'll increase your appointments. It'll increase your appointments, yes, because you're getting like referrals, like I said, which is going to increase your appointments, but it's also going to increase your per client volume of sales by getting those cross sales and getting referral bonuses, or even if you just sell an additional policy that you may not have sold before. So instead of just getting that term policy or just getting that life insurance policy, well, now you're getting a disability policy, or now you're getting a long-term care policy, or now you're getting an annuity, or whatever it is. You're just increasing your sales per client, because it's all about repeat business. Everybody knows in the business world that repeat and referral businesses are your best friends. It's your best way to increase your income. So where to go from here? Just some 3 really easy steps for you to implement starting tomorrow kind of thing. First is you want to figure out what you want to sell and what you want to refer out. So if you want to sell it, you need to make sure you're informed about that topic. The next step is meet with potential team partners and present the ideas to them. See if they're open to it. If not, move on to the next person. You kind of want to fill out every single person on that list, because again, it's just free referrals for you. There's no reason not to. Either way, your clients are going to be using these services. So it's much better if you have a team that you can refer to internally and kind of work together for the same goal. It's just going to help you in the long run. And the last part, and this is, some people have differing opinions on this. I like to, and I recommend you sign a simple contract just to make sure everything's on the same page. We don't want a long formal document. I'm talking like a 1-pager kind of thing. There's some examples on the private site or the resource center. Basically just saying like if you're going to split commissions, exactly what percentages or exactly how it's going to work, what you expect, just to make sure like everyone understands clearly and you're not, and everyone can feel comfortable and make sure they're not going to get ripped off or anything like that. It's just a ease of comfort. Also establishes that you guys are separate from them. That way, if they do mess up something, that you're not held liable. And then just a tip and a reminder, these are joint ventures are an essential tool for your long-term success. It's optional, quote unquote, but your business, your life as an agent is going to be so much harder if you're not utilizing this. So with that, that was my speech. I'm right at 30 minutes, so I'm pretty happy with that. What questions do we have? I know I went through this pretty quickly, and it's a topic that we not necessarily talk about a lot. So what questions do you guys have? None. I'm that good. My logic served me well today. Went through A to Z with no gaps.
Sarah has a question.
Okay.
Yes, Alex. What if in the joint venture, you don't have too many opportunities to refer to that person?
As far as, let's say, like it's like your tax preparer or something like that, and like you only do like one a year kind of thing. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, or like a mortgage person, you just don't have too many people to refer to them. But there might be in a position to refer a ton of business to me for life insurance.
Okay. Well, if since we can't like that's kind of where kickbacks would come into play, I would say. So if we can't give them a lot of return business, well, what are the other ways we can compensate for them? Can we give them an advising or a consulting fee? Can we pay them a consulting fee for help on cases? Can we like rent out a room for them for an educational workshop? Can we give them a split of the commission if they're licensed? Or even just a per appointment kind of thing? Like you have to check with your state. I think in Florida is one of those you can. I think it's $25. Don't quote me on that. But if it's just for everyone they send your way, give them $25.
That's definitely one way of doing it. But again, if you're getting the joint ventures set up and having these partnerships and you're doing your 5 new appointments a week, you're going to have tons of opportunities to refer business because you're going to see different clientele with different needs, wills and trusts. You're going to see different ones that need mortgage help or whatnot as you're doing your fact finds. Remember, you're the quarterback of the team. So you're here to just distribute the information. So if you have leads coming from your mortgage broker, leads coming from a tax preparer, an attorney, you have, 20 chances a month to refer people or more. Because the idea is to get 5 appointments a week. So if you're doing that flow, you're going to have plenty of opportunities to refer people out to, and it won't be an issue.
Yep. The other part of that is, yes, they're giving you referrals, but it's also increasing their reputation to their clients as well. Because it's not like you're just selling them something. It's, hey, that's why I wanted to position it that way in those letters, saying, hey, like it's kind of giving the, I don't like it because it's kind of misleading a little bit, is like they paid for your time or they secured your time to give this to their clients. So it's an added benefit to their client, increasing their realm of help to the client. So that way they get more repeat business from their own clients. Helps with their customer retention as well. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. What else?
Do you know of any attorneys that actually give quote unquote referrals? I mean, true referrals, because what I've run across, and not a whole bunch, but just one that in particular that I worked with, and I sent her a bunch of referrals. And when she refers out, she gives the names of 3 different people. So it's not really a referral. I don't consider it a referral because she gave it to 2 other people.
Mm-hmm. That's why that's the difference between like a passive referral and an active referral. That's why I really want to do that active step as far as like sending out marketing to their list if they're open to it. It's kind of one of the main things I'm really looking for in a potential partner. And the other thing is, if you want, talk about being an exclusive referral. And that'll work both ways. So they're the only person that you refer to and vice versa.
I imagine that somebody who's an attorney probably gets a ton of referrals from financial professionals, and they've got to be careful. They can't refer out to a competitor of the person that referred them the business.
That's why you see a lot of attorneys having that list of people. I know even when Lou was doing it, he had 3 attorneys he worked with. You know, and the benefit of what he had is they worked in different fields. So I basically, you know, and even what I do is I look for, you know, if I have a attorney that deals with estates, if I have one that deals with, you know, general law, you know, I can refer them based on, you know, different areas. So it depends on what their specialty is. And again, is, you know, insurance, the funds processes are not all the same. You have to identify what your specialty is. Where can you bring the most value to their clients? That way there's no overlap. So if they have a client that needs to fund an IRA, you know, they're going to refer them to the broker or an annuity person. You know, if they're going to need life insurance, not going to refer them to an annuity person. You know, you can't be, when you're doing any kind of joint work, you got to be a specialist. That surgeon that goes in there, not the general surgeon, the neurosurgeon, you know, the orthopedic surgeon that focuses on a specific body part. You know, that's where you need to be working on, and bringing that message to them so they know exactly why they're referring people to you. If you're going in as a general financial professional, you're not going to get any referrals because you're too broad stroke.
That's why I was also saying is show them a practice run, do a practice run with them so they clearly understand how you're helping people. And that's the reason for that is A, so they know why and how they can refer people to you and what they're referring for. And B, it sets you apart. It's saying, hey, like I'm way better than everybody else. Like no one's going to do the job that I can do, and show them the proof in the pudding of that. That's why we really want to do that practice run with them if we can.
I think Dan has a question.
So for what it's worth, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so for what it's worth, I was in an office in Philadelphia a long time ago, and there was an agent who started working with the attorney, with attorneys in Philadelphia. And while it took what most people would consider to be an extended period of time for him to be able to get things coming back the other way, once they started coming back the other way, it came so thick and so fast that for the last 25 years, he has been one of the top performing agents for Northwestern Mutual in the country.
Yeah, this is an extremely powerful tool when used properly and very vital to your long-term success.
Just so you understand that in the beginning, it might seem as though it's all going one way, but if you become a good source of business for someone else, it's in their best interest to have it go back the other way to you.
Mm-hmm. And that goes back to the other saying that you've heard us say is if you help enough people get what they want, you're going to get what you want in the end as well. But yeah, it can be slow to start in the beginning. So like put in the time, like you'll get your just reward.
Yeah, but just don't go in talking about product. You know, that'll kill every opportunity you have. Well, I want to sell annuities. I want to sell life insurance. No, that's not what you're going in there for. Focus on, again, back to basics, back to the problem. Helping people solve problems is going to make you all the opportunities. You're just going to have conversations with people. You know, whether you're part of a BNI group or networking group, Toastmasters, you know, you have all these different connections that we all have. And it's just talk to them and see how we can work together to grow to this business. You know, I've partnered with daycare centers, mortgage brokers, banks, chiropractors. I mean, the list is open of who you can partner with. I partnered with one of my funniest ones is I partnered with a bowling alley where they let me put my information on the thing that comes down after you throw the ball. My phone number's on there every day. 25 lanes. So be thinking of, who do you give your business to? I have one guy in West Virginia who partners with a coffee shop. And it's a very active partnership. They actually put his information on the coffee sleeve they put on it. So think about who you give business to, who you can partner with, whether it's your hairdresser, whether it's your barber, whether it's your mechanic, all these people have lists of people we can help. It doesn't always have to be financial people you partner with. Make sense?
Yeah, those people necessarily wouldn't be on your quote unquote team, but those are definitely people you want to form joint ventures with. Any other questions? While you guys are thinking about that, I know I just gave you 2 ideas as far as like the actual marketing materials, but you can find all of those in the joint ventures section. I don't know if it's on the marketing in the resource center or not, but I know it's in all of the systems.
Yep. And while you guys are thinking of the questions, we have a few classes next week. So if you're a member of WebPres's email, you probably seen the advertisement for a class we're doing on virtual sales. We have my insurance WebEx class next week also, or the 21st. So stay tuned for a lot of classes coming out the next 2 weeks.
Yes, Sarah?
I wanted to ask a question on a different matter.
Okay.
If you're presenting long-term care to a client and they decide not to move forward, is it still advisable to get them to sign some kind of a letter saying that they've decided not to get the long-term care insurance?
I've done it with disability insurance in the past because it's protection for yourself. It's not the best way to handle it, but I know a lot of agents do that to kind of let them know, hey, if you don't take this and you have a claim, don't come crying back to me. Especially if you're in a very, I can't pronounce that word again. Litigious. Yes. Thank you, Alex. State. Florida is one of them. They have a lot of lawsuits because of agent activities. California. I was getting there. That's my problem child.
New York.
New York. Yeah. Alabama. So, I mean, there's quite a few of them, so just if you need to put that whole harmless agreement out there saying, hey, I'm just saying you don't take it, that's fine. Just please sign this saying you decline the opportunity.
I'm surprised California doesn't have what is it, the statute 64 or 65 in relation to life insurance yet.
It'll be coming.
The attorneys can figure out how to make a buck on it. It'll be out there.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Right. Well, I see a couple new names in the class today, and thank you guys for coming out. I guess there's no more questions. We're going to wrap up. So everybody have a great week, safe weekend, and always be prospecting, always be having conversations, and we'll see you guys next week.
Not next week because we have the live training event. So we have a week off before our next class.
Okay.
But yes, the following week. We have one on that Tuesday, that Thursday.
Yep.
And the recording for this class will be up probably first thing tomorrow morning.
Sounds
It
good.
takes forever to upload. So
yep.
Yes, thank you everybody, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.